He'd be at Sephora, or Stetson would be at Sephora. Yeah. Not Macy's, because Macy's trash now. Like, so I've heard.
God. If he was selling cars, he'd be probably selling Cadillacs? Stetson Bennett Cadillac.
But they wouldn't be new Cadillacs. They'd be like late 90s.
And Jake Tal would buy all of them.
Stetson Cadillac. Come get your Eldorado.
Oh, the coral snake, Jake. That was the most disgusting penis I'd ever seen. Like, Asscasters, our friend Jake came to us at the bar, and this is really how Jake approaches us every time we see him in public. He comes up to me and goes, he'll be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he's really nice, because Jake is. I love Jake. And then I'll be like, "Jake, how are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, well, here's what happened." And then he's like, "I got in a wreck on a four-wheeler on some private property."
Yep.
And he, in whatever way he crashed, he bruised his cock. And
And I think TJ's next question was, "Let me see."
No, I didn't ask. I didn't ask. I was just showing.
I haven't seen a bruised plantain before.
I was just.
Are we at Sabor? Are we on a date?
These shit's dehydrated.
Hello, I'm Robert Stack, and you are listening to the Asscasters podcast.
Episode 27 of the Asscasters podcast. We are finally done with holiday adventures. We're done with Vegas. It is time to get back into a routine. And part of that routine means being here with you for episode 27 to talk about college football, NFL football, ready for playoffs. We'll walk through that. And we gave a tease in our last podcast that we were going to celebrate Tiger Woods' 47th birthday, which was on December 30th. And damn it, we're going to celebrate this thing.
Is it really a tease if we just forgot to talk about it?
Well, I mentioned it at the very beginning of the podcast, and we just never
forgot.
got there.
Yeah, we forgot. So is it really a tease? we're just catching up, man.
We're dangling the carrot. We never gave it. But anyway, today, unless we get sidetracked, we are going to run through some remarkable Tiger Woods stats in addition to everything else that we got going on today. So let's just jump right in to make sure that we can cover everything that we want today. We've got two Asscasters live in studio, myself and TJ. We've also got Schwammy. He is remotely dialed in with technology that I don't understand. But TJ, here in studio, 9th Street. How are you, sir?
This is by far and away the least amount I have ever smoked for a podcast. My edible has not hit me yet. I am puffing on this disposable cartridge like it's a, I don't know. My mouth's just been all over it, really deep like.
Schwammy saved that audio bite of it in my mouth all deep like.
Oh, don't worry. It's going right next to I'm making sure they're getting to the pooping.
You guys know me so well. It's been a good week. We are going to eat Pedro this weekend.
Finally.
Yay!
We are going to eat Pedro this week.
Schwammy, are you coming to that?
When is that exactly? Because I am booked up all weekend.
Well, luckily it sounds like eating Pedro.
I got 3 hockey games to work.
It sounds like this eating Pedro is quite the process, so I imagine this is going to start on a Friday and probably carry into every bit of a Saturday.
Oh, God. Maybe. I may have to swing by after the game on Saturday and see if you guys are alive.
That's when the effects will start to hit.
Yeah, that's when you guys were choking on thorns and shit that he forgot to take off.
I'm going to talk to my spirit guide, man. Fuck off.
Dude, that's the FedEx guy.
His name's George.
I'm glad you're on a first name basis now. Oh, did I tell you that my neighbor upstairs moved out? And
Did he
so,
really? Or
hey,
did they
if
really?
you want to move above me, TJ, you can. Or Andy.
No, the neighbor that lives above us, like, they need to fucking go die. Like, one, they smoke cigarettes and it's getting filtered down into, to our shit. So, like, we've been coughing at night and shit, and it's been no bueno.
I don't think the coughing's from the cigarettes, TJ. I think that's from other activities that you're doing.
I haven't been smoking, man. I mean, I have been smoking, but not as much.
And
I have, but not as
TJ
much.
looking extra stressed today is a good time to remind you that episode 27, just like all of our episodes of the Asscasters podcast, brought to you by our friends at 3chai.com.
And let me tell you...
Wait, is it 3 chai or 3 chi? Remember we had this discussion the other day.
It's 3 chi.
My bad.
Okay.
Yes, Asscasters from all backgrounds and walks of life, you all feel stress. You all feel the January blues. So go to 3chi.com. They have just released some Delta 9.0 products. I will be purchasing the Delta Zero concentrate because I like to get a little crazy.
Thank you, girl in the back of the postal truck on Don't Be a Menace.
I told you I could get a little crazy. Yeah, so check out 3G, guys.
Swammy, how you going? How's it going, buddy?
Dude, I feel like I haven't stopped moving since the end of Thanksgiving.
You said that Saturday.
I feel like I've been... Yeah, I feel like I've been on nonstop, just either trips, work, I mean, what have you. I just feel like I haven't had a day off, like a weekend off in 2 months. So I'm ready for a break, but I guess that break that's coming up is when I'm going to be in Colorado in a couple weeks. So.
Oh, what you going to do there?
I'm going to go to an Avalanche game, go check out Loveland and Greenlee up in northern Colorado, and just go hang out for a weekend and just kind of get away for a little bit. You know, I mean, it's unfortunate I couldn't join Andy and Carlos's amazing adventures in Vegas, which sounded like an absolute treat. Listening to last week's podcast, it looked like a blast.
It was pretty fun, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Oh, the things.
So let's hop right in. We're not going to spend too much time on this, Asscasters, but I think we do need to speak briefly on it. The end of the college football season comes to a pretty abrupt and nasty end with Georgia just taking TCU to the woodshed for the first time all year. Some people saw that coming. It was a massacre on all levels. So if you guys have thoughts on that game in particular, or people that were in that game that are going to be either going into the draft or staying with their teams moving forward, feel free to talk about it. Otherwise, we can move on to more important stuff. TJ, we'll let him go second because he's dealing with 3Chi vibes over here. Schwammy, tell us what you watched, any takeaways that you got, and if there's none, we'll just move on.
Man, I mean, I knew Georgia was good and that they were gonna, I thought they were gonna win pretty easily, but not that easily. That was an all for all, puns that can be said. I guess that was such an ass whooping. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like it wasn't necessarily fun to watch because TCU didn't really put up a fight, and early on it kind of looked like they might be able to put up double digits and make it look like a game. Yeah, that never happened. Georgia's defense was just too fast. They were getting to Dugan pretty easily and really just kind of dictated how, or really not, what TCU was going to do on offense. And kind of the same way on the offensive side of the ball for the Georgia Bulldogs. They were just having their way with the TCU defense all day. And Stetson Bennett looked like a Heisman Trophy winner. I guess it's what happens when you have a 30-year-old man playing in college football against 21 and 19-year-olds. But I mean,
he wrote
it was
the Georgia playbook.
It was just one of the most lopsided. It was one of the most lopsided championship games I've seen in quite a while. Probably since OU was in the championship game a few years ago against LSU.
There was a tweet that was during that game, and I think it was a picture of Stetson Bennett's girlfriend, but I guess she looked maybe a little bit older. It could have been his mom for all I know. And that was the beauty of the tweet because they were like, is this his mom or his girlfriend? It could be the same age. We don't know.
Dude, I mean, for as long as he's been in college football and how old he looks like he's married with 3 kids, chain smokes, and works as a grocery bagger at Kroger. So, I mean, he kind of fits the bill.
Would you guys like to play the game Who's Been at Georgia Longer, Stetson Bennett or Kirby Smart?
Oh, well, no. It depends because originally Stetson Bennett committed early on.
We'll go.
Because he walked on to Georgia.
Okay. Do you want to play the game?
Yeah, and I guess I got to be first out of the gate because he walked on to Georgia, then left, and then came back for, the last 2 years he's been on there? So I'm going to give him a total tenure at Georgia of 2.5 seasons.
So I'm going to count I'm going from when he first stepped, let's just count from when he stepped on campus at Georgia as a walk-on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's use that as the begin date, like the junior college. Okay. Well, we won't think about that. How long has this man been associated with Georgia University, or the University of Georgia? Has it been longer than Kirby Smart?
I will say yes.
I'm going to say since 2003.
Yes, even like when Kirby Smart coached before Mark Rich coached. That is exactly right. Yes, that is true.
Right now,
I'm gonna go with Stetson Bennett being there longer.
And Andy, you said who?
Stetson Bennett.
Stetson Bennett has been at the University of Georgia. He started in 2017.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Good God.
Kirby Smart started 1 year before him.
Oh my God! Damn it!
Oh.
Damn it!
So yeah, that's what happened.
Couple stats on that game. We'll get TJ's thoughts on this, but I got the stats in front of me, so I'm just gonna hop into them real quick. So on Stetson Bennett, he had 6 total touchdowns in that game. Not bad. 18 for 25, 304 in the air, 4 touchdowns in the air, 2 on the ground. Georgia's got some monsters that I don't know what their future looks like next year with Georgia or elsewhere. But Brock Bowers, their tight end, was an absolute unstoppable monster. 7 receptions, 152 and a touchdown. And with one of the best names, as an Irish guy, you got to like the name Lad McConkey, who gets 5 receptions, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. A great game for him. One of the best names in all of college football.
His name is really Ladd McConkey?
Ladd McConkey. Ladd on Ladd and then McConkey on his last name. He had a great game. He'd been doing good for them all year. And then finally, a stat kind of on the other side, TCU's best wide receiver, Quentin Johnston, in that game. And I was trying to figure out how to bet this game, if at all. I didn't feel good on a lot of things, but one thing I almost pulled the trigger on was the over for Quentin Johnston's receiving yards because he's just awesome. He ended up, because of the Georgia defense, going 1 reception, 3 yards. So I am glad I did not put my chips on the line for that. TJ, do you got any thoughts on that game?
So I came home a little late, past 7 o'clock. Turned the game on, and it was over, so I turned it back off.
There you go.
So yeah, it was a pretty good night for me. Ate some Ziggy's pizza and fell asleep. It was good.
So like I said, Asscast, we won't focus on that too much longer. But what we can do, before we move on to other things, now that the college football season is done, and TJ, I'll send this one back to you. So we talked a little bit last podcast about some things to look forward to next week. Or next season with the college football season, and primarily we were talking about maybe a couple of players, but anything looking forward in the future to look forward to in college football, TJ?
I am excited that Poco just came down. I'm excited to see, or not excited. I am interested to see how the transfer portal. It's a whole nother aspect of recruiting. So I'm interested to see how that changes the college football landscape. It had an immense impact on it this year. In particular, Notre Dame
Oh boy.
picked
Oh boy.
up the quarterback from Wake Forest in the transfer portal, and he is going to be competing for a spot with Tyler Buckner. It seemed like he had a pretty good career at Wake Forest.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I kind of like what I saw from Tyler Buckner. He adds a dimension to the running game that works with the offense. I don't know. What do you feel, Andy?
I'd rather have Wake Forest quarterback, honestly. I'm not too terribly impressed with Buckner.
Well, we know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think Buckner really showed out in his time at Notre Dame. I think it's a pretty decent pickup for the old Fighting Irish, but it'd be interesting to see how they go moving forward in their coach's second year as a head coach. How do you guys feel about him at being the head coach there now after a full season?
Schwab, you beat me to the punch. I think this was exactly what I was going to ask TJ. We've had ongoing discussion about this, and I think we're on. Well, we'll just hop in. TJ, what do you think? Marcus Freeman.
He's going to be better than Brian Kelly.
Is that your walk-off statement with no supporting evidence?
He's recruiting.
His family's going to be better.
God, we can only hope.
What'd you say, Schwemmy?
His family's going to be better.
Oh, yeah.
He can already recruit. He has a system that's already been in place. He's got momentum within the program. He's got talent everywhere. They just found, I feel like, Audric Estime, who is only a sophomore this year. That dude is a damn wrecking ball.
You're good.
He is a goddamn wrecking ball. In the recruiting class that they just picked up, I feel like they're going to have some instant impact at wide receiver. They're going to get some more speed and a little height at the wide receiver position. Who knows if the freshmen are going to play right off the bat. But we had like Tobias Merriweather, incoming freshman, 6'4". I'll take it. We just need some height, and maybe Andy, with that height, the Wake Forest quarterback will be, a better choice in the offense. Maybe it'll be more traditional, more NFL style. I don't know. Yeah, I think he'll get us to a national title game soon.
Okay. Is Michael Mayer eligible to come
He's
back?
gone.
He's gone, right?
He's gone.
I think that's a huge loss.
They have the next number one. Like,
I know, but I think even though Notre Dame is tight end U, I think Michael Mayer is in the elite of elite tight ends that have not only have played at Notre Dame, but are going to be absolutely awesome at the NFL level. So I think that hurts to a certain degree. One of the things I saw throughout the season with Notre Dame is that when not only the quarterbacks didn't know what to do, but Tommy Rees, as an offensive coordinator, didn't know what to do, the solution was always the same. And it was bail out with Mayer every single time. And now that that's gone, I would suggest that they're gonna have to find yardage in crucial situations from people that are not him.
Now, this is going to look unfavorably on me as a Notre Dame fan. Did Mayer play in the game against South Carolina? I watched it. I just don't remember.
I don't either.
I do know. I don't remember if Mayer played. I do know that the backup, or the guy next in line to be the tight end one at Notre Dame, he had a couple catches and looked good. Like, I don't think there's going to be... Michael Mayer is a great talent. And there will be a little drop-off, but I think that tight end option will still be there. I don't know. You see the things that Kansas City does with Kelsey.
Yeah.
And you wonder if they had a Brock Bowers instead, if they would start doing that. But Mayer is more traditional. He can stay in and block, so I think that's why Mayer is going to go higher in the draft. But that's kind of a sidebar. Let's see.
I was gonna mention Bowers earlier. Like, you want to talk about a guy who just shreds defenses, and he is young too. He's only gonna get better.
He's a
Georgia in the
he's
next
a
couple years.
sophomore.
So he's gonna be one of those guys you watch coming in the NFL, and I think he's gonna make an immediate impact kind of wherever he goes. But he's one of those new prototypical tight ends that you want to see that are athletic, that can get up into the play, block, and yeah, he's gonna be good for a while.
Yeah. Michael Mayer didn't even play the bowl game.
Right.
So yeah.
As well, he should not have.
No, he shouldn't have. No, smart move.
So, TJ, any other final thoughts, college football wise, and then we'll move on to maybe Schwammy's final thoughts, college football wise.
If Michigan got the shit kicked, I know it's awful to play this game.
You're using the transitive property, and I don't like it.
If Michigan got the shit kicked out of TCU, how bad is Michigan? Like, how? Let's look at that. Can we look at that schedule again? How fucking, like, that was not the third best team in the nation. You cannot tell me that was the third best team in the nation.
I can tell you they beat, if we're going to use the transitive property, I can tell you they beat Ohio State, who was a field goal away from beating the national champion.
But that's a rivalry game. Rivalries are different. You know what the other person's going to do. Like, rivalries are different. Other than that,
They're different.
Different. That's different, man.
It's new. It's
That's
different,
man.
It's different. Thanks, Wayne's World. Oh, well, Asscasters, if you just heard my old man, the parents just purchased a new Bernedoodle, and it has been pissing... Whoa.
What was that?
Schawe? Okay. Were you playing music over there?
No, but it's funny. Bernedoodle. Oh my god.
And Sharon named it Betty
so
White.
good.
Yes, the Bernedoodle named
God.
Betty White.
So just like a Betty White, she'll probably outlive everybody.
Well, Sharon even said that on the way to get her. She goes, you know, I didn't think I would outlive Poco. I didn't even think I'd get a new dog.
I just like how Poco met her replacement already. Like, hey, here's the new blood. See you next week.
Poco's not happy.
Pogo is a pretty pissed off son of a bitch out here.
Poco is...
Well, it's just tough being old 13-year-old Poco.
She did really well at the beginning when Betty White was like they were just looking at each other and sniffing each other, and like Poco was just interested and kind of wagging her tail. And then Betty the Bernedoodle started sniffing Poco's ass, and Poco didn't like that. So it's a testy situation.
That's a big day. I'm surprised. Sharon didn't name the dog Judge Judy.
Judge Judy's still alive.
I mean, that's true. So yeah, that's true. But
okay, so
like
Michigan
dog. It's only going to get bigger.
Michigan's schedule
let's
next year is a cupcake. So let's see what TJ's thoughts are about how good Michigan is going to perform next year based off of this schedule. At home against East Carolina, at home against UNLV, at home against Bowling Green, at home against Rutgers. Then they finally make a road trip, and it's going to be a real difficult one against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Then they go to Minnesota, who fell off this year. They're at home again against Indiana, who's just came back a little bit this year after Pence, one of their great quarterbacks, transferred out. And then Michigan State, and if we know anything about Michigan State lately, they can't play football. Michigan against Purdue, who can't score more than 10 points in a football game. Michigan at Penn State, so finally maybe a game that might be ranked for a Michigan opponent. Then they get Michigan at Maryland Terrapins, who were garbage this year, and finally they get the game against Ohio State as the last game of the season. So with everything we just said, look at that cupcake schedule.
Is the Pac-12 better than the Big Ten?
Right now it is.
Yeah, I would definitely say it is.
I would think so.
Like, that's a fucking awful, trash-ass conference right there. You have a schedule for the number 3 team in the nation that made the college football playoff, and they have 2 wins. I mean, they have 2 games against ranked opponents total. Are you fucking shitting me? What a fucking overrated piece of shit school. Sorry. Fuck Michigan. Fuck the Big 12.
I mean,
Big 10.
did Michigan even think that they were going to get that this far this year anyway? So it just kind of fit them.
Like, fuck Jim Harbaugh and his fucking khakis. Oh my god.
Is he even going to be there next year?
No.
He will. He
Nah.
will. He'll be there again.
I feel like he will too.
He will.
Nah. I don't give a shit. Fucking pick a new pair of pants.
Schwammy, your thoughts on the end of the college football season and maybe what to look forward to that sparks your curiosity going into next season. And you can we will take the moratorium off of the Oklahoma Sooners.
Well, obviously, it was a very subpar year. I didn't get to watch the bowl game against Florida State, but it sounded like they played a pretty damn good team against a ranked opponent. So there's a lot to look forward to. I think overall, their rank as far as like their commitments or their signees are like one of the 5th or 6th in the nation coming in next year. They have they have one of the better, I guess, transfer portal recruitments this offseason already. They got Jacob Lacey from Notre Dame. They got Austin Stogner who's coming back from South Carolina. Reggie Pearson Jr. coming from Texas Tech. Trace Ford from OSU. I mean, they're getting some good talent in, and you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say I expected OU to be a national contender last year, but I definitely didn't expect them to be sub 500. So I think it's going to be a better year next year, and you know, I don't know if OU and Texas are going to make it to the Big 12 make it to the SEC out of the Big 12 next year, but you know, they better be ready, and I think they're starting to finally hit some momentum and some strides with their recruiting, and I think they're on the right path to where they want to be next year. And another one of those guys that they got to sign a letter of intent was Peyton Bowen, who decided he wanted to go to Notre Dame, then Oregon, and then OU. But see,
take it, man.
Well, he was trying to appease his parents, both of them, and I guess he just finally was like, let me just make like my own fucking decision, pretty much. I think he was just trying to appease everybody, and he just finally just said, screw it. I've always liked OU. That's where I want to go, and so that was his final decision. And I know this because one of the podcasts I listened to, the Unofficial 40, they follow a bunch of recruits, and they some of them go to their games and even interviews them. And I know that they interview Peyton Bowen quite a bit, and he has really been high on OU the entire time. So I think it was more of outside noise trying to make a decision for him instead of him making a decision right away on that. But I feel pretty good going into next year. Dylan Gabriel's coming back into the fold, as well as 10th year wide receiver Drake Stoops. But it's going to be an interesting kind of transition to see how they do next year and going into the SEC.
Schawe, can I ask you a question? And
yeah,
I mean, try to look at your OU Sooners with the most unbiased cap that you possibly can wear.
Okay.
Do you feel more confident in OU going to the SEC or Texas?
Man, that's kind of a tough question. I feel like Texas has more donors and richer or deeper pockets there.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, you got Matthew McConaughey, and just all the oil money down there. But my mind says Texas, but my heart likes to believe OU.
Well, we'll go with Texas then.
I thought you were gonna pull a Keith Sweat and be like, my mind's telling me OU, but my body's sorry.
My body's telling me Oregon.
Oh no, Notre Dame.
But
you guys gonna be able to play defense next season?
No.
Isn't that
I
the whole
hope
reason
so.
you got your
I just-
fancy cube or your fancy coach?
I mean, I would like to think so, but you gotta understand that when Lincoln Riley and his team left, they took a lot of those recruits with them and some of the transfers with them. So they were playing with guys that were either second in line, third in line, and so they had to play with what they were given it essentially. So after this first year of full recruiting for Brent Venables and trying to fill in those gaps where he needs them, I feel like it's gonna only get better from here. Now, not saying that, not saying Alex Grinch's defenses have been great when he came into OU, and as you could see when he went over to USC, they're still giving up 25 plus points a game and not blowing out teams like it should be. When you have a guy like Caleb Williams who can score you 48 points in a game, it shouldn't be close to, at the end of the game, it should be 48-10, not 48-38. So it's just a change of philosophy and change of who they recruit on defense, and I think Brent Venables is the right guy for that.
All right, so the schedule is released, which I'm not giving you right now, but the schedule is released for next season, and the over-under for Oklahoma wins is at 8.5. Do you go over or under?
Man, I would say, nice burp. I would say, I'd almost want to say, if they finish with 8, that's kind of what I'm feeling right now.
Well, then you are
feel like
going
they're
under, my friend.
An 8-win team. Yeah.
TJ, what would you
But
do on
eight,
that?
8 or 9, and I'm happy after last year. I'm
As
happy
we get
with
closer to the season, we will actually print off the schedule and do this all over again. TJ, what are your initial thoughts? I'm shooting from the hip on 8.5, but what are your thoughts? Over unders wins for Oklahoma 8.5.
Sling it, baby.
I'm gonna go. Fuck, man. Okay, so you have TCU, best team in the conference. I think we can all say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
K-State is. They lose Deuce Vaughn, but they did just pick up a transfer from. Help me.
From another school.
Thank you, Andy. Thank
welcome.
you. That's it. Yes, from another school.
You're welcome.
That's the kind of fucking information you get when you listen to the Asscasters podcast.
That is what the Asscasters listen to us for.
Yes.
I mean, we did break news, so other than that.
That is true.
Yeah, that's...
We're gonna even if we're fortunate enough to get to episode 200, we will always reference back on that one time we broke news to give us our credibility for the rest of the show for all time.
I bet. I mean, Schawe, you'll break some news, but like between Andy, Carlos, and I, we're not gonna break another story. We'll probably be more likely to be on the news.
Yes.
Than to. Yeah.
By the way, the running back you're thinking of is from Florida State, Trayshawn Ward.
Yes. No, I think that'll be a good addition. K-State number 2, Texas 3, OU 4. So yeah, I'm gonna go on the under.
Okay.
And I'm gonna hold comment until we get closer.
That's just a dickhead move.
I know.
You can't ask a question and then just sit there and be like, "Oh, I can't do that."
You know, I think what I would do, honestly,
Pick a number, pussy.
I'd go over. I think I would. I would.
Pick a number, pussy. The Asscasters. Put that on a fucking
a solid
t-shirt.
9.
The title of episode 27.
Or as George Carlin would call it, 3 solid 3s.
Or 9 1s.
All right, so Schwimmy, any other final thoughts on college football?
College football as a whole, I'm trying to think. Not really. I think it's thank God this season's over as an OU fan, and I look forward to next year. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the moves a few teams make out of conference and see how they do fare in their new conferences, and kind of see the arrangement, like with Cincinnati come to the Big 12, BYU, and Houston as well. Kind of interesting to see all the moves and see how each team adjusts to their new conference going forward. But I think we can put an end to college football season from there.
Schawe, I'll pick up your baton from there.
Thank you.
I was very happy with this college football season. A couple great things happened. Colorado
Yeah.
did Colorado things, and we won money.
We did.
USC did USC things.
And we won a lot of money.
Well, it's really Caleb Williams did Caleb Williams things, and he did it for us. Alabama lost, and they didn't even make the playoff. I think this was their worst season in quite a while. So that was endearing. Michigan didn't get to the title game, so that was cool. Ohio State, they lost too, so that was good.
In heartbreaking fashion, by the way.
Clemson looks like trash. I'm kind of excited for next year. I think it was a good season. Yeah, I'm happy. Kansas reappeared.
Yeah. I mean, how long do we think that's going to be sustained, though?
With that coach for a while.
Think so?
Yeah, I mean, if you consider KU being 6-6 and bowl eligible successful for that program, which I do, I think they're relevant for the next 5 years.
As long as he's
Yeah,
there.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah, well,
I mean, if they can get eight wins a year, that's pretty damn good.
They just unloaded the Brinks truck for him, so he's not
How
going.
much did they pay him?
I don't know off the top of my head, but they signed him to an extension at the beginning of the season, and then they redid.
And all you could eat at Burger Stand.
Yeah, and they redid his contract throughout the season again, and they really paid him towards the end. So I don't, unless he is somehow able to get an elite job, like an SEC or Pac-12 elite job, that would pay him in that neighborhood of like 10-year, $100 million, like some of these coaches are getting. I don't think he's going anywhere for a while, which is a good thing for KU. And it's all, I mean, hypothetically, even if that happens for KU, where he took one of those jobs, that suggests that he got the program to a point where, I mean, they were good enough that somebody took on a 10-year, $100 million contract. So I mean, both ways. I just don't see Lance Leipold failing at KU.
Lance Leipold's contract is through 2029. It starts at $5 million for the 2023 season and then goes up incrementally every year by $100,000.
Look at that! I mean, that's a good Big 12 coach contract.
And it seems like it can be reworked.
Yeah.
That feels So good for KU. I would like to give a shout out to the KU basketball team, KU basketball donors. Because without this, KU football would not be possible. So thanks.
Well, and they also signed their offensive coordinator for a while too. So that's also a good way to keep a program kind of in this, on top or where they're at right now, so they doesn't leave for another coaching job or head coaching job somewhere else. So keep some stability in that program.
If you guys don't mind, I'll give you my final thoughts on college football, then we can move on.
We didn't ask you.
Here's Georgia's schedule for next year, and we just talked about the fact that Brock Bowers and McConkey are only sophomores. Listen to this cupcake schedule. So here comes their non-conference. At home, UT Martin. At home, Ball State. At home, South Carolina. At home, UAB. Then they finally go on the road to Auburn, who just had to replace their coach, I believe, this year because they're such a mess. Kentucky, they're going to get at home, and that's going to be without Kentucky's quarterback, who's going to go top 10 in the draft. So Kentucky's going to be looking for a replacement at quarterback for that game. Then at Vanderbilt, who's garbage. Versus Florida. Florida might give them a game. At home against Missouri. Missouri's been, they had a decent defense this season, but nothing to be scared of, I wouldn't think, against Georgia. They get Ole Miss, who probably overachieved this season. Tennessee Volunteers, who I'm going to be very high on. I'll probably bet that game. That's going to be fun. And then finally at Georgia Tech. So at the end of the day, there's no Alabama on there. And that's really not a frightening schedule. Like even when we get to the point of talking about over-unders next season for season wins, that's a light enough schedule that I don't even care who their skill players are at Georgia next year. Like, I don't care who the quarterback is. They could probably start a third-string quarterback and beat most of those teams. Yeah, and beat most of the teams that are on that schedule. So that there's another cupcake schedule coming up for Georgia. So anyway,
Yep.
The only other final thought I've got on college football is just the fact that we did really good, I think, betting college football. College football saved my ass because I got my ass handed to me in NFL this year.
I don't know why you bet NFL.
It's tough. This year was really hard.
Yeah, that's what she said. I'm 5.
Hi-yo.
Hey-o. What were we talking about?
Well, just I was talking about how college football gambling saved my wallet.
Oh yeah, I have I have some money to play with craps tonight. So
Nice.
after I get done editing this bad boy, I guess gonna go sling some dice.
There you go. So, Schwammy, before we transition into the NFL, a question that we've had just burning in the back of our minds: are you ever going to gamble on sports?
Huh. Am I ever going to gamble on sports?
I feel like that was a yes.
What do you think the chances are that I do?
Well, here's one of the things that I wonder. You're in a group chat with 4 degenerate gamblers, and I don't even know. Like, I'm surprised that you haven't opted out of that chat because there's so much gambling shit in there.
Well, it's kind of hard to get out of that chat when no one else, like, not everyone has iPhones, and I can't just leave the chat.
Oh, well. Sorry.
But I enjoy the banter and the memes that get shared in there. And I really don't mind that y'all talk about gambling and betting at all. It's kind of funny to watch, especially when Jew Boy is trying to make some money off corners every day.
Dude, what? I didn't think I even had my coffee by that time, and fucking, like, I was like, oh, I gotta fucking get ready for the day, and I see corners? Like, shit, let's fucking throw down for 2 o'clock.
So TJ, can you walk me through that? Like, I thought I was a degenerate gambler, but I guess I just don't know soccer that well. So tell us and the Asscasters, when you and Jewboy, and I don't know if Carlos is throwing down on that, but when you guys are betting corners for soccer games, what are you betting? Like, walk me through, like, is it over or under? What is it?
So there are a couple different ways you can bet corners. You can bet corners on the total amount, just like the score.
Okay.
So you can bet,
Total number of corners in a game.
Yeah, total. And then you can bet, like today, I bet that Manchester City would have 5 corners more than Southampton.
Oh, so the spread was on. Okay.
So Southampton, I played the spread on corners today.
Oh,
and Southampton, you know what? You're a gritty bunch. I respect y'all, but god damn it, this was not the day. Just not the day.
Ouch.
So yeah, when y'all were talking about, like, I had work. I was dealing with clients.
No excuse.
I was dealing with clients. But you guys were telling me that the score was 3-3, and I was like, that's not good. And then, I for sure lost.
It's just tough, You know
what? It's fun to have a good bet going during the day. Like,
it is.
It is.
I don't know. Maybe I'll gamble on something here and there. I might have to. I might have to wait until, like, one of my teams is in, like, a playoffs or the championship for me to actually bet something.
Well, we look forward to it for sure. I'm hoping the day comes that Schwammy's placed a bet or two, and he really enjoyed the experience. Maybe he'll even get lucky enough and win 1 or 2 of those bets and get that little first high rush.
Get the little juice going.
Yeah, get that little meth rush.
But he'll get the juice going I feel like he'll get the juice going just by putting down a bet and watching the game. Like,
there you go.
It's a little extra factor. Like, you never
Well,
know.
if it's anything like fantasy football, I don't know if I'm into it.
Well, you just need to not suck. That's part of your problem. There.
Hey, I didn't suck. I made the playoffs. B, I had the best record in our league, and I won a different league. So it's not like I am bad at fantasy football.
So if it's like fantasy football, you should bet because apparently you got a certain skill set that not every person has.
Hey, Schawe, do you want any
Yes,
moonshine?
I am autistic. Yes, that's correct.
Hey, do you want any moonshine?
Oh, dude, speaking of moonshine.
I thought that would help your fantasy
Oh.
third place game.
Well, I mean, it might have.
Run
but,
us down
I
what
mean,
happened, buddy.
I had some moonshine. I had some moonshine up in Great Bend
Oh my
for
God.
New Year's Day or New Year's Eve.
You were in
That was
Great
a
Bend
time
for
up
New
there.
Year's Eve?
Yeah, we went up there for my girlfriend's. Her aunt was turning 60.
Her aunt?
So
is-
they had a big. Yeah, her aunt was turning 60. So they had a big old birthday back.
Schawe, you still there?
Uh-oh.
We...
Oh!
Schawe, you there?
Oh, Asscasters, we may have ourselves a technical disaster on our hands here. So anyway, we're gonna work on getting Schwammy reconnected. He was here virtually with fancy technology, and we don't know if he's coming back. So TJ at the moment is working on getting him reconnected. I will help you out moving on to the next topic at hand. Basically, we're going to transition into NFL football. We got Wild Card Weekend upon us, one of the best weekends. And
Can you hear me?
Hey! Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I guess the internet didn't want me to tell what happened in Great Bend, which is fine.
Well, unfortunately, AT&T even works in Hoisington.
Yeah, this is true. But no, like I was gonna say like over 200 people showed up, and they reserved it at the Great Bend Event Center.
So they had
And,
all of
yeah.
Great Bend plus like 2 other western Kansas cities?
Like all of Bushton, Claflin, and like 3 other co-ops were there. Like it was, and a couple 4-H gals showed up.
I was talking to this customer on the phone today, and she's like, "Do you know Hope?" And I was thinking to myself, I was like, "Man, there is no hope, man. I'm so depressed." And she's like, "No, it's a city in Kansas." I was like, "Oh, my bad."
Yeah, I know Hope. She gave me a lap dance at Pleasures one night.
Oh, speaking of strippers! So, sorry, Asscasters. Andy's taking a piss, even though I just poured water into my canteen that sounded like a piss. So, do you remember the girl that we went to high school with, Schawe? I'm going to describe her going from not a lot of detail to more specific details and see if you can name her. If you know her name, I don't want you to scream out her whole name. Just give
I already
us...
know her stage name.
Shit, how did you know? Oh, god damn it. Okay, so what she was spotted the other day.
She was. She was spotted.
She was,
like she's a migrating bird.
She was in the wild. She was with company. She was pregnant again.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. This is Raven.
Yeah.
The stripper Raven. If I don't know if you know, you know.
Caw, caw.
Yeah. But that's what happened. So, Schawe.
That's so Raven.
Yeah, it was a little weird. I do. Okay, so Schawe.
Well, it's not weird. What's weird is that she was trying to keep it a secret, but then she was on the commercials. Like people wouldn't recognize her or something.
So were we still in high school when she was on the pole?
What kind of pole? Hey,
You know.
I think we were seniors or we were just out of high school. I feel like that's the right when it happened. Like as she turned 18.
Wow. You know,
Got to make that bread, you know?
You know, if I was a female with a hot body, I would consider stripping. Like for sure. I don't feel.
Yeah,
like
why not?
If you're making that much money, like, I'm not hot.
Or just work at Twin Peaks. You don't have to take off your clothes.
I don't know. Like, I feel like if I was gonna like take off some of my clothes, like, I might as well take them all off. Like, it's like walking around home, like just fucking be butt ass naked.
Well,
with the windows
I guess
closed.
whatever floats your boat tips your canoe and pays the bills.
Man, fucking nothing. So Schawe, what did you see from the NFL this week? One, sorry, I was not in front of. I haven't really been in front of the television. Did Damar Hamlin get released from the hospital?
Yes. Well, he got transferred to the one in Buffalo, and then I think today just got released. And it will, continue his care and stuff at home. But yes, he got discharged from the hospital just today.
Okay, so that is good, and to the NFL's credit, and to Andy's point last week, they did cancel the Cincinnati Buffalo game, which that's the right call. As far as the playoff and wildcard situation in the AFC, Schawe, do you know what's going on this weekend?
Well, for Chiefs fans like me, we're just watching and hoping that Miami Dolphins can pull a miracle and beat Buffalo without Tua. And I don't know if that's really going to happen, but anything is possible in the playoffs, as we've seen.
Not if Skylar Thompson's
in
your
all
quarterback.
sports and landscapes.
Hey.
Welcome back, Andy.
Yeah, thank you.
Man,
But yeah, I think I don't know. I feel like Buffalo is going to be one of the toughest teams to beat in the AFC. I mean, obviously you can't count out Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, the Chargers can make a little run as well, and obviously the Chiefs are the Chiefs, best team in the AFC West, or not even just the AFC West, AFC. When someone thought they were going to be in fourth place in their division. So I think it's going to be an interesting playoff for the AFC. I think it's anybody's game compared to the NFC, where I mean who else but the Philadelphia Eagles? Like who else is it to win on their side, on the NFC side, that is.
Would you believe me if I told you that I think Dallas has a chance still?
No.
Just don't. I'm your brother, man.
I know.
Don't put me through that bad juju.
I know.
But
No, Juju plays for the Chiefs.
God damn it, Schawe.
He does.
In all seriousness, and taking my Dallas Cowboys hat off, San Francisco are they still rocking Brock Purdy?
They are. I mean, they have no other
They have
option
to.
but to.
All right, so I think they're still going to beat Seattle.
They're
Moving-
nine.
I mean, it's not like they can bring Jeff Garcia out of the fucking locker room.
I don't think they want to.
The line on that Niners Seahawks game. The line on that game is 9.5 for what that's worth.
Wow.
Moving to Minnesota versus New York. Andy, do you have the line on this one?
Minnesota versus New York. I do have the line. I'm so glad you asked. I've got Minnesota is a home favorite that's currently right at 3 points as a 3-point favorite for Minnesota.
I would take New York all day on that.
I cannot have any confidence in betting New York in the playoffs, and I can't bet on a team that has a negative point differential going into that game, which would be the Vikings. So I won't be touching that game.
Are the Vikings the luckiest team this year?
Yes,
like
they are.
They have what? How many like one score or one possession win?
How
like,
can
compared
you
to the
all
rest of the league,
say
I guess?
that? How can you all say that? They won their division.
I don't know, man.
Hold on. They won their division that had...
They had the Bears in their division. The Packers were trash at the beginning of the season, and the Lions started to get hot every game. In the second half as well.
Absolutely. But
The Vikings lost to the Broncos by 10.
There you go. I'm going to bet New York, okay? The Vikings, no, I don't trust them. Tampa Bay.
Thank you for proving our point.
Tampa Bay is the luckiest fucking team in all of football right now. They had by far the worst division. They were all like.
It was pretty bad.
They do not deserve to be in the playoffs.
But I know I just said Dallas has a chance. They could beat Dallas.
They beat them earlier in the year. Yeah.
Yep.
That's not the same Tampa team though that's coming in.
What are you suggesting? This Tampa
It's better.
team is better or worse?
That Tampa team in the beginning of the year?
The Tampa team that's coming in right now, are they better or
I'd
worse?
say they're worse.
You think they're worse now? Oof.
Man, I think they're better now.
Why come, Schawe?
I mean, don't you want the Cowboys to lose so you guys can hire Sean Payton?
I love it.
Don't you want that to happen, and then you could maybe trade Dak Prescott for?
That's not gonna happen.
Purdy?
Sean Payton is not that dumb. Sean Payton doesn't want to deal with Jerry.
Hey, can I throw in a random
fair.
Cowboy stat just out of nowhere?
Yeah.
For the first time ever.
Yes. How many DUIs do they have this year?
This is an interception stat rather than a Dewey stat, but Dak
Same thing.
Okay.
Dak
close.
Prescott became the first quarterback in NFL history to lead the league in fucking interceptions while missing 5 games of the regular season or more.
Oh my god,
Franchise quarterback.
that is gross. Yeah.
He better get his shit together. And he better.
How long have you been saying that for?
I haven't. Your brother. No, Schawe, we had this conversation at the beginning of the year. Your brother said, we're winning despite Dak or something like that. And I was like, no, he's good. He's going to be fine. No, he's been fucking awful, and it hasn't been injury. It hasn't. I don't think it's been injury that's leading to these interceptions. It's horrible reads, and did he just not study the playbook? He looks fucking like a rookie out there.
Yeah, he's just not your franchise quarterback. He's a serviceable quarterback if if someone goes down, he can win you some games, but he's not gonna win you a Super Bowl. I just don't think he is that guy.
I think if
that. But how many times have we been wrong on this podcast? But I just don't see it with Dak. I just don't.
I think if this defense, I think that defense is capable of bringing them to the Super Bowl. In that NFC, that's the weakest NFC playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Playoffs?
That's the weakest, though. That's what team, all right, let's just look to the AFC. And we're not going to take Miami.
While you look, who's older, Stetson Bennett or Dak Prescott?
That's a good question.
Dak Prescott. Or no, Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett.
Okay.
No,
I don't know. I was just asking. I was just trying to fill some time in.
No, I think it's Dak, because I think Dak was drafted in 17, 16, 17. I don't know. No, if Miami had Tua, I think they would beat every NFC team, including the Eagles.
I don't know if I quite buy into that.
That's a lot
I'd say
closer
they got
than
a
I thought.
shot.
Say what, Schawe?
And that's a lot closer than I was expecting. Dak Prescott's 29. Stetson Bennett's 25. So that was a lot closer than I was expecting.
That's weird. God,
Stetson Bennett sounds
Bennett's
like a bad
loser.
cologne.
It is. He's a loser, man. Not because
leave college.
he's does he have a doctorate? What has he done? Not to
No,
be
he has
mean,
his
but-
associates in liberal arts.
Hey man, don't talk shit on the arts.
Stetson Bennett, the last 2 years. This year, 4,100 yards, 27 touchdowns, 7 picks. The year before, 29 touchdowns, 7 picks. 2 national titles. You know that guy right now, he just should stop what he's doing and go do car commercials down in Georgia and just live the rest of his life.
I wouldn't buy a
Making
car.
moonshine.
I wouldn't buy a car from Stetson Bennett.
Well, if he ever figures out that Cologne's named after him, as I mentioned to you, Asscasters, maybe one of the high-end...
He'd be at Sephora, or Stetson would be at Sephora. Yeah. Not Macy's,
Yeah.
because Macy's trash now. So I've heard.
God. If he was selling cars, he'd be probably selling Cadillacs? Stetson Bennett Cadillac.
But they wouldn't be new Cadillacs. They'd be late 90s.
And Jake...
Can't wait.
Stetson Cadillac. Come get your Eldorado.
Oh, the coral snake, Jake. That was the most disgusting penis I'd ever seen. Asscasters, our friend Jake came to us at the bar, and this is really how Jake approaches us every time we see him in public. He comes up to me and goes, he'll be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he's really nice, because Jake is. I love Jake. And then I'll be like, "Jake, how are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, well, here's what happened." And then he's like, "I got in a wreck on a 4-wheeler on some private property."
Yep.
And he, in whatever way he crashed, he bruised his cock. And
And I think TJ's next question was, "Let me see."
No, I didn't ask. I didn't ask. I was just showing.
I haven't seen a bruised plantain before.
I was just.
Are we at Sabor? Are we on a date?
These shit's dehydrated.
Oh no.
Yeah, it looked like the coral snake that I used to watch Steve Irwin try to wrestle with in the seas of India,
The seas of India.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Or as they call it.
Sounds like a casino slot. The seas of India.
I would lose so much money on it.
Hey, did we talk when we were talking NFL while I was up taking a piss? Did we talk about the fact that Lamar Jackson is not starting this game?
No, we did not. Andy, would you like to bring us to?
We haven't got it. We got sidetracked
by Stetson Cologne.
So
yes,
okay, couple things before I hop into the Lamar Jackson situation. One thing that I thought about that we could do on this podcast is if we ever give a strong recommendation to the Asscasters to make a bet, we should probably archive our win percentage on success and failure rate throughout the course of the season, throughout the course of the year, and that way, Asscasters, you can judge us and give us an accountability. If you would have done this during college football last season, you would be very happy. But if you would have done anything we told you NFL-wise this season, including the Baltimore Ravens over-under at FanDuel, which was tragically at 10.5, did lose that bet, but offsetted some of those losses. But that's okay. Lamar Jackson.
Or betting the Chiefs to finish 4th in the division, but continue.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't bet that.
Now,
but
anyway,
we talked about it.
Besides us being accountable, let's move on to this Ravens situation. Now, when this Lamar Jackson injury happened, they were talking about him coming back within 2 to 3 games. That was 5 games ago. I don't think there was any question back at the time that Lamar Jackson was going to be ready for the playoffs when the playoffs are ready to come. And here they are. Playoffs are here on a contract year for Lamar Jackson, who's his own agent.
Here I am.
And Lamar Jackson is not playing this game.
Is it Tyler Huntley or Tyler Huntley?
I don't even know if he's healthy.
Oh. RG3 can't play because he's now on ESPN.
Yeah,
by the way, getting better.
I really like him.
He's getting better.
I really like him.
I do too.
He kind of needs to grow on you a little bit. His in-game analysis is not as great as his post-game analysis when he actually has time to think through things, but he is growing on me a little bit. But Anyway, their situation for the Ravens at quarterback not good. Bengals are on fire, and Cincinnati is an 8.5-point favorite in that game.
Yeah.
Do you guys want?
Ooh.
Would you guys like to hear another trivia question?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Which one of these players plays for the Baltimore Ravens?
Ooh.
Brett Hundley or Tyler Huntley, or both?
Ooh, I'd go both because that's fun.
Schawe, what do you think?
None.
You're an idiot, Schawe. Yeah, it's both. Yeah, so...
I did not know that.
Dude, that must be confusing for the fucking quarterback coach and fucking drills. Like, Hundley! Ah, shit! Huntley! Ah, fucking 9!
Fucking
Or
9.
5 and 2. Okay. What do you feel about your Baltimore Ravens, Andy?
I'm just looking right now because another problem they've had is their health at running back again, which this is what I dealt with all last season that I was bitching about as I was trying to give some love to the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm looking at the injury report for the Baltimore Ravens right now, and Lamar Jackson, listed as questionable on ESPN, is out of this game as far as I know. Gus Edwards, who was coming in to help Dobbins, because Dobbins was holding the load there for a little bit. Gus Edwards, questionable, again. And our good friend Tyler Huntley at quarterback, also questionable. So Baltimore continues to not be healthy. They really struggled down the stretch here with this Lamar Jackson injury because they're just not good enough to win without him. They're just not. Tyler Huntley's not a bad quarterback, but they're not that great without him. And in a playoff game against the Bengals, who have won God knows how many games in a row, I can't count, but they're on fire. Things are not looking good for our good friends in Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bengals.
I would.
That team is hot right now. Joe Burrow is fucking jocking cigars out of his mouth. Bad news for the AFC in fucking playoffs. I could see them making it back to the Super Bowl.
I could too. I could very easily see that.
It's crazy that they have a better chance, obviously, with the Rams not being in the playoffs, but compared to the Rams this year, who has a better chance of winning the Super Bowl? And I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of crazy how far the Rams fell while the Bengals kind of had a slow start, but they definitely picked it up at the closer to the end of the season. They look like the same team that made it to the Super Bowl last year. So I can definitely see them making another run.
The Rams situation being so bad that a coach that just won the Super Bowl the previous year has just told his staff that they can go look for jobs elsewhere without any repercussions because he doesn't even know if he's coming back. McVay doesn't know if he's coming back.
Yeah, McVay, he doesn't want to be involved in another rebuild. Which...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where I feel about this one.
You don't know where you feel about this one? Or what
how
you
I feel.
Oh,
how I feel.
There you go.
I know where I feel it.
Right in between the knees.
Right on Jake's coral snake.
Yeah. The dark shaft. What were we talking about?
I don't know. What were you talking about?
Oh, okay. So,
we're talking. Go ahead.
do you agree? Okay, so Schawe. No, it's been Carlos. Carlos has been very anti-movement for player and anti-transfer portal. This is the NFL, completely different situation. But I do want to ask you guys: do you agree with a coach who wants to just leave because he doesn't want to develop talent or go through that process again? McVay, I feel like this is the first time a coach has been like, after he's won a Super Bowl, to your point, Andy, and said, no, I don't think I can do this. I don't want to do this.
I'm fine with it.
Schawe?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, how many times do you want to go through that same kind of build? It's such a it's such a grind, and day in and day out. I mean, I bet it's hard for some guys to get up in the morning and go to work when you're not going to be great or good, and it's just going to be a struggle just to be in a game, especially at the NFL level where everyone is just so damn good. It's hard to compete, and it wears on you. I mean, let's be honest. It's a very tough business to be in, and to want to be to be in another rebuild after you finally got to the top of the mountain, you see how far down it is, and you have to go back up. Man, I can't blame somebody for not wanting to go through that again. But at the same time, I think it says something about someone who wants to stay around and be somewhere for a while and wants to be part of something great, rather than take an easy way out saying, oh, I'm done. I'm going to try to find another job somewhere else where I can already start at the top. I mean, it's kind of arrogant to think, I think.
So,
because I mean, it's not as easy as it may seem. So I mean,
isn't it poetic justice if McVay leaves?
How so?
Yeah,
He leaves on Kroenke, just like Kroenke left on St. Louis.
at least he left with the Super Bowl, and they left with like half a stadium full.
But I mean, McVay was supposed to be the L.A. guy, and then they're going to renovate the Coliseum, and the Rams were going to... they were trying to renovate the Coliseum, and then they built SoFi, and the Chargers and fucking Rams were going to split time in there, and McVay was going to be the face of it.
Well, isn't it very LA for once the guy's done with his old model to go to a new model?
I don't blame McVay, but I don't blame it. Like, power to him. Like, if anyone should get fucked over in the NFL, it's the owners. So fuck them. That's all I have to say about that. But yeah, I think it's McVay's right to. I mean, if you're not going to be happy somewhere, fucking leave. It's not illegal, so do it. I think,
and not in this country.
I think back
maybe in Belize.
Well, I'm thinking of coaches like Bill Cowher, Tom Landry, just the coaches that are synonymous with the teams they coached. And I thought that was gonna be McVay and LA for sure. Like, I thought those two were gonna be synonymous with each other. Because what coach do you really associate with the Raiders, or not the Raiders, the Rams, L.A. or St. Louis?
Jeff Fisher and Dick Vermeil.
I would say Dick Vermeil.
Yeah, because obviously they did win the Super Bowl in St. Louis. So.
Dick Vermeil and Mike Martz.
Other than that, fuck Mike Martz. Okay, I mean, he went to the Super Bowl with Dick Vermeil's team, pretty much. He was a good coordinator, not a great head coach. But I mean, Jeff Fisher was just there for a long time as well, and made the move from St. Louis to L.A. But yeah, I mean, Sean McVay definitely one of the coaches that stands out for that franchise. Because I mean, before Dick Vermeil, can you name anybody for the St. Louis/L.A. Rams before then? I don't think so.
I can't.
That's a coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, head coach.
Oh, no.
And you're a Rams fan.
Yeah, they didn't have much.
Or you were a Rams fan.
Yeah.
The other question I wanted to ask both of you, does Sean McVay make that decision not knowing which spots are going to be open and which aren't?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think he's worried about it. I think he can almost take his pick, honestly. It depends on what's available.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he knows there's a great opportunity.
I'd say Indianapolis looks great if they can figure out how to get a fucking quarterback in that system.
To Schawe's point, if fucking McVay, or not, if McCarthy doesn't get it done this weekend on Monday, McVay could very well end up in Dallas.
I'm still not sold that Jerry's going to fire McCarthy. I mean, is this going to be back-to-back 12-5 seasons for Dallas?
They had they were 13-4 this year.
So 13-4 this year, 12-5 last year, and those are McCarthy's like 2 out of his first 3 years. Only since the days of a 14-2 Chargers Marty Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer.
Run the ball and play defense.
Let's go, Marty Ball.
Only since the firing of 14-2 Marty Schottenheimer has somebody been fired with that type of a regular season track record.
What a team that is.
But I mean, at the same time, if you're not getting it done in the playoffs, I mean, you gotta look for a change.
He's been there 3 fucking years. I mean,
man, you can't tell me they haven't trying to find an excuse to get rid of him to get a better head coach.
Fuck.
Because I'm telling you, and TJ, you would know this. You can bitch about these Dallas Cowboys as they are, but remember, in a time not too fucking long ago, there was a version of these Cowboys that was 5-11 pretty consistently.
I've been through the valley of the shadow of death.
The Anthony Wright years, the
Quincy Carter.
the Quincy Carter. I mean, just
Vinny Testaverde.
But before you go
Drew
God,
Bledsoe.
those are great
you
days.
overturn that apple cart, just remember what this could be.
Chad
like
Henne.
Ugh.
Can you name what college Chad Henne played football at?
Ooh, I can't.
He also pitched for them too.
I cannot.
We've talked about them today.
I do not.
Wake Forest,
Clemson,
Michigan.
Oh,
No, I don't think McCarthy should be fired. I think
we got him thinking.
I don't smell the fire burning in that brain.
I don't feel like McCarthy really had to be the quarterback whisperer for Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre. I don't really feel like he had to develop either of those two. Well, obviously Brett Favre, because Brett Favre was later in his career. Aaron Rodgers has the best arm talent. Sans, Jake Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Michael Vick, Randall Carter.
Okay,
Not Randall Carter.
but the Cowboys became better. Now, this may not be a great statement for Jason Garrett, but they became a better team once they got rid of Jason Garrett.
I think the...
And Micah Parsons isn't getting all of them wins. Just be very careful for what you wish for, sir.
If Sean McVay says yes, I will take the job.
Of course, but you can't fire McCarthy and hope that McVay's coming your way.
There's tampering. Don't act like there's not tampering. They're already talking. Stop.
Sounds like what Denver did when they hired Hackett. They expected Aaron Rodgers to come along with them.
Yeah, grow the fuck up, Andy. These are adults, and they make adult decisions, which are usually immoral.
Well, I was gonna say, if it's adults making decisions, it's probably not a good thing. So,
no.
Yeah.
Do we have any time for happy birthday, Tiger Woods?
Is that all? We really didn't talk about the AFC.
We don't know what's gonna happen other than it's gonna be a complete clusterfuck.
Yes, it is.
Do you want more AFC before we go into happy birthday?
Yeah, I think we'll just talk about the AFC a little bit. Because we did talk on the Ravens, Bengals. Miami, Buffalo, I feel that wasn't going to be pretty easy. The game I am interested to hear y'all's opinion on, Los Angeles Chargers at Jacksonville Jaguars. I want to watch the shit out of this game.
I do too. I think it's going to be a fun game. You got two rising star quarterbacks who are, coming into their own. Trevor Lawrence, talk about a turnaround from earlier this year.
I wonder what was the difference.
His shape.
I don't know. Co-Ed Meyer or Herb. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch those two guys battle it out. It's going to be a great game. I can't wait to tune that in. But I just feel like Chargers are probably going to be the better team. They have a little more experience on their end, and I think they're going to pull it out against the Jags. But I want it to be a shootout in a sense.
Andrew?
Schwammy, I don't know if you're going to quite get a shootout in this game. I think this game is going to be pretty close. Jacksonville's getting hot. Trevor Lawrence is starting to look good. Although I will say this last game they had against Tennessee, where the playoffs were on the line, and Trevor Lawrence was going up against a third-string quarterback in Tennessee. Trevor Lawrence did not look. He did not look particularly well in that game. I mean, he missed a lot of throws.
Sure.
I didn't feel very good with where that game left me. I feel much more confident in Herbert than I do.
Oh, I agree.
Than I do Trevor Lawrence at this point.
Yeah.
I would give the slight edge to the Chargers on this. I think I probably will end up betting this game. I don't have any faith in Brandon Staley as a coach in a close game. So we have that strike.
Yeah.
So in the coaching matchup, Chargers lose that one. I have much more faith. Is it Doug Peterson, the coach at Jacksonville now, who won the title in Philadelphia? So I'd feel much better there. But I think
what a great pickup for them, by the way.
no shit. I mean,
Yeah.
Philadelphia, here's your coaches that you've lost. Andy Reid is in fucking Kansas City winning Super Bowls and just killing it for the last decade. And your coach, Doug Peterson, who won you a Super Bowl, just
With a backup quarterback.
just turned around Jacksonville.
And Carson Wentz was the quarterback playing the regular season.
So congratulations, Eagles, on that one. Hey, while you're at it, Eagles, why don't you get rid of Jalen Hurts? That seems like a smart move while you're at it.
Is he ready to go for this week?
Yeah, he's ready to go.
Like, I know he's starting, but is he
He
fully...
played last week. He played last week.
He's
so.
ready to run.
Okay. I will say, and I know I've said this before, but credit to Jalen Hurts. I never fucking... I think I've said this before on here. I know I've said it somewhere. Jalen Hurts, I never thought would be a NFL quarterback. I never saw the arm talent. I don't know. He just seemed like a running quarterback who could throw sometimes. Lincoln Riley, I'm guessing that was the difference, because I don't feel like Nick Saban has ever turned a quarterback around like Lincoln Riley can. I'm just assuming that's Lincoln Riley's handiwork there.
I think Nick Saban's got a better track record with quarterbacks than you think. He's got Tua and he's got Mac Jones. I mean, you can say what you want about Mac Jones, but he's still a starting quarterback.
But how highly were those recruits?
Mac Jones?
Tua was number one.
I was going to say, Mac Jones, though, on the other side, I don't think was too terribly high.
Tua was the number one, though.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I mean, if you're Nick Saban, why do you need to have a quarterback that's throwing 40 to 50 times a game and getting you 300 yards a game when you have the Derrick Henrys of the world and all the other running backs that have come through Alabama that are torching SEC defenses and everybody else that they run?
Because college football's changed that much. In 2009, they won their first championship with Nick. So yeah, that was a defense. That was a defense and Mark Ingram-led team. They beat a Colt McCoy-led Texas team that honestly was not...
Colt McCoy, still in the league.
Colt McCoy's still in the league. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks great. He's moisturizing.
Him and Justin Thomas of the PGA have never been sent at the same place at the same time.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Doppelganger.
Justin Thomas, University, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? I don't know.
You got lost.
Yeah, I did.
It's okay.
It's all right.
Yeah, you were wanting to talk more AFC.
No, I think that's. That's all I had for the AFC. I really wanted to touch on the Jaguars game. Coaching says a lot, though. I don't know. Credit to Jalen Hurts for I don't know. Like, I'm just impressed with him. If he put in that much work, which it seems like he did, if he put in that much work, like, fuck, good on him, man. Like, I respect you. That was my love letter to an Eagles player before the playoffs. How are you guys doing?
Can I give you my love letter to Tiger Woods?
Yeah.
Okay. Schwammy, you ready for Tiger Woods stats?
Yes.
Okay. happy 47th birthday to Tiger Woods. His birthday was on December 30th, but he's so good, we still celebrate here as we're recording this podcast on January the 11th. Tiger Woods stats. I'm just going to run through them.
When's his birthday?
December the 30th.
Okay.
He turned 47 years old. There's some of these are better than others, but I don't think any of them are bad. In the last 60 years, there are 3 instances of a player winning 5 or more PGA starts in a row. They belong to Tiger Woods, and Tiger Woods.
Wow.
He won 7 in a row, 6 in a row, 5 in a row. Here's another stat. Tiger Woods is credited with 41 career wins on the European Tour, third most of any player all time. He has never played full time on that tour. You want more stats? I've got more stats.
Let's hear him.
From the 1999 Memorial through the 2001 Memorial, Tiger Woods won 20 times in 40 official PGA Tour starts. Then he did it again, winning 20 times in 40 official PGA Tour starts from the 2005 WGC American Express through the 2008 U.S. Open.
Jesus.
Win percentage by outright 54-hole leader on PGA Tour. PGA Tour in 2022. The outright leader won the tournament 41.4% of the time. The PGA Tour in the last 10 seasons, the 54-hole leader has won 42% of those tournaments. Tiger Woods in the same situation.
Can I guess?
Go ahead.
97.
95.7%. He has won 44 of 46 tournaments when he was a 54-hole leader.
That is so fucking incredible.
It's ridiculous.
Like,
Wow. That is
Okay.
fucking crazy.
okay, so we haven't talked much golf on here, but can you, like, I can't keep it together for 3 holes. Like, I can't, like, if I put,
That's what she said.
if I put 3...
No, she had 2.
If I had, like, I can't put 3 holes together. Like, that's good for me. Like, if I get a par, I'm good. Like, I don't know, 3 pars in a row, I'd be super fucking happy.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine how many mistakes you could make on 54 holes of golf?
Morikawa just blew like a 6-shot lead this week.
Yeah. How many mistakes can you make in the hardest game there is to play in 54 holes of golf? That man is... Jesus fuck.
Tiger Woods has the PGA Tour record for most consecutive cuts made. TJ, you may actually know this number.
Okay, what was the stat again? Sorry.
Tiger Woods has the PGA Tour record for most consecutive cuts made at...
Oh, I have no idea.
142 consecutive starts.
My God.
John Rahm has the longest active streak at 19.
John Rahm's killing it, though.
I mean,
John Rahm's fucking... He's, like, the best... Jesus, that Bernedoodle is...
He's a Bernedoodle.
From the years 2004 to 2006, TJ, this will really... you'll love this one. This will go right to your putter. You'll love this one. From the years 2004 to 2006, Tiger had 1,466 putts from 3 feet and in. He missed 3 of them.
Wow.
My God, we Asscasters, we have this new Bernedoodle that Sharon just doesn't have a grandkid, so she's dropping it on puppies now. This Bernedoodle is screaming for her poor life. I don't know what she's wanting, food or something. Who knows? I think she's okay. She's just whining.
Are they doing the ritual from taking Poco's soul and putting it into her body?
It's exactly what we're hearing right
Poco's
now.
literally laying on the ground lifeless in front of us. Usually, you Asscasters, you can hear her in the background. Today, she's lifeless, soulless. She needs a hamburger.
She's a rug. She's
like
a rug.
like Tiger Woods competitors going into the Sunday. Here's another Tiger Woods stat. From the 1999 PGA through the 2001 Masters, here are Tiger Woods' finishes in the majors. Now let me read that again just so that you can comprehend this. From the 1999 PGA to the 2001 Masters, here's Tiger Woods' finish in those tournaments. Win, 5th place, win.
Good God. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Got any more?
I do, actually.
Okay, yeah, fucking let's hear them.
Yeah, keep going.
Best score relative to par in the majors from 1997 to 2009. Tiger, this might be the best one of all these
Okay,
stats.
can you say that again?
Best score relative to par in the majors from the years 1997 to 2009. Okay? You got it, TJ? Schwammy, you following?
Yes.
Okay. Tiger Woods was 134 shots under par. His next closest competitor in that time frame was Phil Mickelson, who was plus 99.
Oh my God.
Holy fuck.
Phil was the only player within 250 strokes of Tiger Woods.
That's
I've got
fucking
more.
Ridiculous.
Tiger is the
Keep
only
going.
player since 1950 to win the same PGA Tour event 4 years in a row. He's done it at Bay Hill and the Buick Invitational.
What is going on?
You want to take a timeout and go see? Yeah.
I think Fuzzy the Clown just came. Asscasters, we're probably going to take a quick timeout, get an edit in here, and then we'll close out this show. Hold on
right.
just a sec. Schwammy, we got to see what's happening.
All right.
Okay. I'll be here.
So, Asscasters, we had to take a quick break there, and we're coming back. We had Betty White issues. so Betty White, the new Bernedoodle, she is now happy and comforted and not barking in the background. So hopefully you guys were able to pick up some of those amazing Tiger Woods stats. I think I'm actually, believe it or not, Asscasters, I might be in control of our Twitter account here sometime soon. So if that happens, I will send you the link to where all of these Tiger Woods stats can be found, and you guys can peruse them at your own leisure, hopefully with dogs not barking in the background. But with that being said, boys, we are approaching pretty close to 8 p.m. here on this Wednesday. I'm going to say it's time for final thoughts. Feel free to take the time that you need, unless... Uh-oh, hold on. Maybe not.
I have a couple questions to ask y'all. One, when we talked about... Okay, so Andy, you are Sans Golf Clubs.
I am.
So I didn't really think about that when I put this on there.
Have you bought new ones, or are you waiting on them?
I have not. I'm still picking up the pieces from finally getting a new car. I threw a new fancy... alarm system in there that's got a GPS tracker on it. It's all fancy. So now we move on to the golf
so we can
club.
see that it's always at Crown Chase.
That's what we hope.
Andy, but you do have your old golf clubs, yes?
They're in the garage, yes.
So we could go golf since it's going to be nice next week.
Not this weekend, next weekend?
Yeah, well, I'm going to be talking to spirit guides this weekend.
I was going to say, I think we have designated this as Pedro weekend.
Are you going to have some?
No.
It won't show up on it.
I know. You know how I am. So.
Okay.
But no, the following weekend, I don't see any reason that we shouldn't go golf.
All right. Schawe?
I'll be in town next week, and I might have Thunder games, but if we could do like a tee time on like during the day or
Swing a Saturday morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Actually, we should probably get out there before NFL games, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, you and Old Top can use your fucking Top Golf.
We can.
Gift cards. That also might be a good place to do the podcast for the Masters.
Oh God.
Do it on location. Give some fucking shout out to Top Golf being in Wichita, and fucking just have our podcast there.
I think we could work that.
That would be very interesting. I like that idea.
Let's.
That could be our first on remote.
Yes, remote.
I mean, the time to do our remotes is going to be coming up here. Like,
There's never a bad time for remotes.
Summertime is a bad time for a remote.
Oh yeah, if we're outside under
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Well, remember when we joked about doing a radio row for something? We need to do something like that.
Yeah.
We should just show up at the mall and just set up and see what happens.
If we went to the West one, literally no one would give a shit.
That's true.
You
Hey,
can
janitor, how many times have you waxed the floors?
you can have a fucking satanic blood rite ritual in the middle of the fucking Spencers. No one will say a fucking word at the West Wichita Mall. Like,
Hey, I don't care as long as I get my Annie Ann's pretzel.
I don't even. Is Annie Ann still there?
Annie Ann's is still
hell
holding
yeah.
strong.
Yeah, I went to the record store there recently, just to look at records, and yeah, fucking, just awful.
Dead.
Yeah, it's just awful. Like it was just bad. Anyway, yes, we are getting that time. I'll quit talking about the Wichita Mall.
You want to just jump into your final thoughts then? Take your time. Take your time.
I'll final thoughts. NFL is going to be over soon. College
For the
football's
Cowboys.
done. Schawe, shut the fuck up. Golf is going to be starting. Ice hockey, NHL, actual playoffs are going to be starting. NBA playoffs, which we don't talk about much on here.
I've not talked much NBA.
So, I mean, for
Who
those of
cares?
you that indulge, cool. I'm just really excited for a good 2023. I'm glad, I'm just happy to do this here for another year, boys. Like, that's all I got.
Schwammy?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a great 2023 as well. You know, obviously, like TJ was saying, playoffs are coming up fairly soon, and a few sports already kicking off with the NFL. Side note with the NFL, glad DeMar Hamlin is doing better and, finally out of the hospital. And, hopefully he can, not only just live a normal life, but live a healthy life without any complications. And you never know, maybe even make his way back to the NFL field someday. But good to see him doing better after a scary moment in that game against the Bengals. So other than that, no, I'm looking forward to an exciting 2023 after a fun 2022, which we started our podcast pretty much halfway through the year there. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I'll kind of piggyback on what Schwammy was talking about. So, we're going to be talking here on the podcast for the next month or so. We'll be definitely talking about the NFL playoffs and that whole situation. But I think we've got a nice thing going on this podcast. I mean, when we started this podcast initially last year, I think we focused on, we were balls deep into hockey more than we were anything else. I think the playoffs had just started. And so Asscast, just so you know, we've got there's multiple people on this podcast that can talk about different things. And so as football starts to wrap up, and you might be wondering what we might talk about when that time comes. I mean, we're not just going to sit here and talk about the breaking news for NFL free agency day after day after day after day. That's just not what we do. So we'll actually start diving in much more into the NHL. TJ and Schawe are very good about talking on that front. I know enough to be dangerous. Carlos doesn't even know who the best hockey player of all time is.
Brody Brodeur.
So we will talk hockey.
Great center forward.
Hashtag Devils, hashtag Avalanche, hashtag. We'll talk about all of them. We will hop into a little bit of NBA. We're just good enough to be dangerous there. And then once baseball gets going, we'll start talking some preseason to a small degree in that thing. So we can cover all of these sports, and I think that's what makes us a little bit unique is the fact that we can talk about just about everything. Hang tight just a second, Asscasters. I'm trying to take a look at.
I want to say on top of that, I mean, if anybody is listening and wants us to talk about certain topics, always send us something on our Twitter page, or send us a message, or leave a comment on YouTube or wherever else you can find us.
Yeah.
Let us know what you want to hear.
Reach out, Asscasters. Our Twitter has not been as active lately. That's why Andrew is probably going to take over some of the reins here going forward. But yeah, thanks, listeners. I just find it tickles me so well. Like, not that it's bad.
Save that, Schwammy. Save that, Schwammy.
144.
Tickles
Hell
him
yeah.
so well.
All right, I gotta cut
Hell yeah, brother.
shit out of that. God.
So anyway, you were getting tickled on your balls.
No, I find it just. So Brussels my balls with how well received our podcast has been there. They are the second city behind our own city, Wichita, in listenership. But I do want to give a shout out to all of our listeners who've been with us since I think it was like early July. Reach out to us at our social media at Asscasters on Twitter and YouTube. Andy, got anything else?
I was just gonna say, is we're talking about new listeners. Thank you, Canada.
Yeah.
Canada hopped into the mix. So yeah, we'll try to do a better job in 2023 of reaching out to you guys as the listeners and being interactive and covering things that you want to talk about. But we can only do that if you let us know what you want to hear. So we'll just kind of take your lead from that. So that's all I've got. I'm gonna sign off here, and I'll let you guys do the same.
See you guys.
Later.